I'm going to tell you everything I've done while growing out my natural gray hair. Hi, I'm Tanya with Free Range Cottage. If it is your first time here, welcome. Glad to virtually meet you. And if you've been coming to my channel for a while, you know that this is not the normal content that I post. It's normally home and garden and sort of frugal living. But I get so many questions and comments about my hair, growing out my natural color or gray hair, as some people say, although it's not completely gray and most people's aren't. But I wanted to go ahead and make this video because I thought maybe there was some interest. So if you're here, you may be growing out your natural hair. You may be thinking about it, and it took me a while thinking about it before I was ready to take the plunge. I was one of these that said, I won't stop coloring my hair until I'm probably 90, because I had a preconceived stereotype that it would make me look older or that it just wouldn't be flattering. Well, that's when I started researching a little bit and looking into it, and I found some great women here on YouTube and on Instagram that looked great, did not look any older than their age. They looked fantastic. And that's what kind of encouraged me to go ahead and take the plunge. That with also my husband, Rob, when I showed him some of these videos and said, hey, look, I don't have to look older. I don't have to cut my hair all off in order to grow out my natural color. And he was all for it. And even in times when I have felt like I wanted to put color back on it, he has said that he really likes my hair and he really doesn't want me to use all those chemicals. And so that's been a great support. So if you can get a support person or a couple of you growing out your hair and cheering each other on, that is a great help, because you will have probably your shaky moments when you're like, this isn't worth it, I can't do it. Okay, so let's get to it. You're here for my number one tip. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of my hair care routine after that, if you want to stick around and you're interested in that. My number one tip is to get a shower filter. Just these inline filters. I'll link to one that I use below. It reduces the chlorine and it's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. And a lot of times I think the discoloring or the yellowing, of course it depends on your natural hair color, but I think the issue that a lot of people have is that chlorine exposure and the other chemicals that they put in our tap water, I feel like are causing issues with frizziness and not liking the color. When you think about it, swimmers, people that are going in the pool a lot will wear those oh so flattering bathing caps so that they don't get the exposure on their hair all the time, because it just dries it out and sometimes it discolors it, yellows it, or even green. So that it has made a big difference. And I really know it did, because we're using our upstairs shower right now because our DIY bathroom makeover is not done. And I don't have a problem at all with it. Anyway, that's the one we're using. And we had taken it off when we put a new shower head in, and it was off for a little while. And I definitely began to notice a difference in my hair, but also in my skin. So we got that right back on, and it's already noticeable. So that is my number one tip. And secondly, some of my routine that I do. I only wash my hair a couple of times a week. I, wash and condition, and I am able to do that because my hair tends to lean to the drier side. And I think a lot of people find that when they're growing out natural hair, gray hair, that it has a little bit of a different texture. It may be curlier or frizzier, and definitely more on the dry side. If that's you, then you don't necessarily have to wash your hair every day or every other day. If you can do it just twice a week. Some people may be able to get away with once a week. Mine doesn't get real oily, but it does tend to get just sort of limp and just needs a refresh. So I just go ahead and do it. Usually I can make the styling last for a few days with just a little bit of touch up. And as far as styling goes, hair tools, I do use hot tools since I only do it maybe 3 times a week. I'll do it when I wash and dry. To dry my hair, I usually use one of these blow dryer brushes. I don't know if it's called a hot brush or I'll link to the one as long as I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's off of Amazon. I'll look for it. But the one that I use was just inexpensive and I've been happy with it. I've kind of looked around at other ones and thinking that I might level up that a little bit, but honestly, I've been really happy with it for what I paid, and it's able to pull down some of that frizz and some of that extreme curliness. And before I go any further, I'm having to record this again, and I had said this the first time because I got distracted with something else, and the recording didn't work out. But I am not a hairstylist. I'm not a cosmetologist. I don't consider myself any kind of professional. I'm just telling you what I've done. And since I get a lot of questions and I get a lot of comments on my hair, I thought I would just share sort of my routine and what I do with you. So back to hair tools. I do use the big barrel curling iron, old school style, if I need to just put some waves or curls in. I've had several stylists try to teach me to use a straightener to do those great beach waves. I'm not coordinated enough to do it or patient enough or whatever. In my defense, I have a lot of hair and it's thick, and it takes a while for me to dry it. So by the time it comes to styling it, I'm kind of worn out. I mean, it literally can take an hour for me to get my hair dry. So that's why that brush works really well for me, because I'm sort of drying and styling at the same time. And I think this is the case with a lot of people that have wavy or curly hair. I have different types of curls in the front and in the back. Underneath, this underneath layer gets really curly, almost ringlet curly, very tight curls. And up front here, this is straightened out some with that brush, but you can see it could tend to really get wavy, but it's not nearly as curly as underneath. And what happens is that really kinks up and curls up, and then the top layer is not as curly. So I end up with it just, bumping out here. So I will just take a clip and I make sure to pull some of that wave and extra curliness out. Not only that, another issue that I encountered was about 1.5 years ago. It was summer of 2021. My husband and I had the big C. We know what we're talking about. And a few months later, I started losing a lot of hair. And I mean, it was by the handful, and it really kind of scared me. I did not know what's going on. I ended up going to my doctor's office and getting blood work to make sure there wasn't some autoimmune disease going on or something. And she's the one that alerted me to the fact that a lot of people are experiencing this just about 3 months to the day after they were sick, losing hair. And so I looked it up and found the research on it. There was a study done on it. And luckily, it's a non-scarring type of hair loss, so the hair does grow back. And what's happened, though, is that so that's been about 1.5 years, and I'm about caught up. The underneath is like this whole layer of underneath hair was growing back in, and it was way shorter than my top layer. So it was really kind of strange. But so what happens there is that it's shorter, so it's kind of like an undercut, and it's just pulling this hair out again. And so I have to really make sure I deal with that section first. And then I will, I'll just lightly dry this top part. And if it's, and I'm going to tell you what products that I use. It's very minimal in a minute. But then, like I said, if we're going out or doing something special, I may take my big barrel curling iron, and sometimes I do that before a video, and sometimes I don't. This is just strictly dried with the drying brush today. And so what do I use on my hair? I am not a huge product person. It's not that I don't like them, and I love things that smell good and everything like that. It's just that I'm always one that's trying to reduce the chemical load in our house products, in our foods, in our, self-care products. I don't like a lot of chemicals as much as possible. So I have tried some products, but even the ones that claim to be, organic, natural, straight from the hand of God, that kind of thing, they still have petroleum products in it, and parabens, and silicone, things that coat your hair, and alcohol, that kind of stuff that's going to dry my hair out. So I kind of just took it into my own hands. I'm a big essential oil user, and so you're going to hear my spiel on what I use here. I just will take this just 100% jojoba oil. And this is really good for your hair and your scalp and everything. And I will use about 6 drops of that just right in my hand. And then I'll take rosemary, which is super good for hair growth and for your hair, and it smells amazing. And I love this Italian rosemary. It's got kind of a piney scent as well as the rosemary, so you don't just smell like you're cooking a chicken or something. But I love the smell of rosemary on its own, but this has just that little bit of pine scent to it, and I absolutely love it. And I'll use like 2 drops of that just right on top of the jojoba. Just add your 2 drops of that, and then I will use a couple drops of lemongrass, which is also super, super good for hair growth and for your hair. And I just have to smell them every time. I wish I could have you smell these. It's just so fresh and great for my hair. So I'll put a couple drops of that lemongrass as well. Mix it up a little bit, and then I'll just run it first underneath, and then I will pull some I'll do the ends. I'll put some up here at the scalp, and then just kind of run it through. But just a word of caution, that's, that many drops for a lot of hair. So you'll probably want to reduce it down if you have short hair or shorter than me, or if your hair's thinner, because you can always add more. But if you get it too oily looking, you don't want to end up having to go back in the shower or something like that. You can always add more once you're drying. And a lot of times I will do that initial run through, and then I'll pull up my hair and I'll just add just a tiny bit more if it's being really frizzy back here before I dry it. And then at the end, if I'm noticing flyaways, or if this is looking a little too, split it, frizzy, I can add just the smallest. I just rub my hands together with some jojoba oil and just, hit the ends. Now, there's times when I will need to put a little bit of hairspray. I don't use it that often. The one that I do use is Pravana. And I don't recommend getting this off Amazon. I got it at the local beauty supply. I have gotten it off Amazon before. It was not the same product. It didn't smell the same. It didn't work the same. Unfortunately, a lot of the beauty products, makeup and, hair products and whatever, are adulterated on when you buy them online. So just a caution, you can do what you want, but I would recommend you go to your local beauty supply to try to find this. But you can see it's a big can that I got, and I'm sure I've had it for at least a year, and it's even starting to like gum up from not being hardly used. I may use this twice a month, if that. I generally, I don't need slick straight hair. I kind of do the natural look, as you can see. So it just depends on your style and what you like. Now, as far as the oils and the essential oils, I am going to put a link to everything down below. And let me give you my spiel on why I went ahead and used this brand. Now, I know there's a lot of good brands out there. Use your favorite. But what I looked at was I wanted independent third-party testing was really important to me, because a lot of these oils are adulterated. They add in artificial scents and other types of oils and just fillers. And I just didn't want any of that. If I'm paying for rosemary oil, I just want the oil that came out of the rosemary plant. So I had used doTERRA for several years and absolutely still love doTERRA, but it was just the cost of it just rubbed my frugal ways wrong. I mean, it really wasn't in my budget to have all the different oils. Now, if I was just getting a couple oils, fine, but it would be kind of embarrassing for me to show you how many oils that I have, because we use them all over the house, and I make my own, self-care products and everything, and I just absolutely love them. And I use them for sleep. I use copaiba for pain, for headaches. The rosemary is great for headaches as well. You just put a drop or two in your hands and, breathe it like that. Rob especially loves that for any kind of headaches. But so I looked for the third-party testing. I looked for affordability. These are fantastic price-wise. They're like a quarter to a third of doTERRA and other ones that I've looked at, which was just right for me. And free shipping. I love the free shipping. I can buy one bottle of something and it's ship free, or if I'm, replacing several things, it's ship free. So I get the jojoba oil from there and the rosemary. They have 2 or 3 different kinds of rosemary. That's what I love. And the lemongrass from there. You can use any scent you want. Maybe if you want lavender, I make my own sort of face oil that I use as well. And I could cover that in a different video if you're interested. But I was using these for probably about 6 months, and I loved them so much that I was recommending them to, family and friends. So I decided to go ahead and get an affiliate link. And so I'm going to put my link down in the description. Of course, you can go straight to Revive and order, but if you shop through my link, it costs you no more, and you're supporting a bigger company, but also me as a content creator and as a small business myself. And I appreciate that so much. And I would love your feedback on if you try Revive Essential Oils. And you can also get, I believe it's a 10% off or even higher if you order $100 worth. But if you just want to try like one bottle or whatever through my link, you can get 10% off. So I will put all that information in the description box below. So that's my spiel. You'll hear me talk about essential oils again, because I really do use them every day and love them. So if you don't like that kind of thing, just fast forward past this part, I guess. So those are the products that I use. If I do find other products that I'm happy with on natural gray hair or whatever, I will definitely pass that along. I do not use the purple shampoos. That's a question that I've had asked. I only tried one, and it really was drying to my hair, and I didn't see any benefit color-wise. I used it 2 or 3 times, and I wasn't really blown away by it. And I need to be blown away by a product in order to keep it, because like I said, I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to beauty care items. I like them clean and minimal. And I'm kind of the same thing with makeup and everything else. So we can talk about that later if you want to. So that about wraps up my hair routine and tips. Just to recap really quick, because I know I rambled on a lot. Get a shower filter that can filter out some of that chlorine and other chemicals that dry out your hair and make it frizzy and hard to deal with. Use the right tools if you want to pull down some of the curl or the frizziness on it. I only wash twice a week. You may or may not be able to get away with that depending on how oily your scalp gets or your hair overall. And then again is use good products that are contributing to the health of your scalp, and so better looking hair and the health of your body overall, rather than a lot of chemical laden ones. Those are my top tips, and let me know if you're thinking about or if you're growing your hair out in the comments, and if you're going to try any of these. Also, too, let me know if you're a regular viewer of the channel, if you would like to see more of these kind of tips. I know as women, or as even we get a little bit of a certain age, we're looking for, I would say, easy care routines where we can stay as healthy and as vibrant and, you know, put our best foot forward. So let me know if that kind of content interests you, and I will look at doing some more of that. Either way, if you're still here, I really appreciate you, and I would love if you would like and subscribe and get on my mailing list at FreeRangeCottage.com, and we'll just continue to have fun, even though we're being frugal. For me, 2023 is the year of being frugal, but still going to enjoy life and have a lot of fun this year. So I hope you'll join me here at Free Range Cottage. See you next time.